Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Yeah, it's been a little while. About a month or so. But I thought I would take some time and get the old Wonder Dog around and do a little video. The reports of my demise have been drastically exaggerated. I have the mighty air mover behind me running, so if the audio is a little scratchy or a little blowy, it's hot in here. Turn my air conditioner off, blow me. So lots been going on since I made my last video. If you remember correctly, a few months ago in my old video series, Unemployed, I made the comment that they're coming for your healthcare, Jim. And wouldn't you know it, I was right. I know everybody's talking about they can't get a bill passed. Trust me, they're going to get something passed. My guess is it's probably the skinny repeal, which I'll get into when it happens. Another thing that happened while I was gone, the pussy grabber in chief put a tweet out. That's a shocker. Put a tweet out banning transgenders from the military. Which I know. Calm down. I know you're not happy with it. I'm not happy with it. I don't want to be in the military. All right. I don't want to shoot people. I want to shoot people. Don't get me wrong. I would really like to be able to shoot people, but it's all that marching and getting into shape. Camouflage. I don't look good in camouflage. I don't. I look like a big bush. So yeah, I don't want to be in the military. So anybody who does, fucking let them in. I don't give a fuck if they're nuts. Let them in. The crazier the better, as far as I'm concerned. Send some fucking psychopath over to fucking Syria and let him go to town on them motherfuckers. I'm okay with it. I bring that up because there was another tweet after his from a transgender Navy SEAL. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Go ahead, let it sink in. Transgender Navy SEAL, which I think may be the greatest thing I've ever heard. A transgender Navy SEAL. Just think about this for a second. You got a woman who really is a man, trained to kill everything. Not just the enemy, not just combatants, not in the military, but they're literally taught to kill anything that moves and blow the shit up out of it. Blow the fuck out of it. Just shit everywhere. That's what they're trained to do. And the fact that there's a transgender version of this in the world is just a beautiful thing. Let's send her out to the bars, or these cocksuckers who prey on women who are maybe a little drunk. Maybe this person puts a little funny stuff in their drink so they can get them home and sexually molest them, rape them, whatever you will. Let them get this gal home, right, and try to get down her shorts, okay? And then Navy SEAL kicks in and literally rips their head off and shoves it up their ass. That would be that. I think that's a fantastic. We need more of that. We need more transgender Navy SEALs, in my opinion. I think it's a beautiful thing. It make them fucking, rapists and molesters think twice before they jump somebody. Is this chick gonna rip off my arm and beat me with it? You know what I'm saying? And I believe that the message that the transgender Navy SEAL tried to give to our pussy grabber in chief was that, and I paraphrase, tell me to my face that I don't belong in the military. Which I wish to God Mr. Trump would do, because wouldn't it be ironic if Donald Trump, pussy grabber in chief, got his ass kicked by a transgender Navy SEAL. That'd be irony. I like irony. We'll be back right after this. Get a little liquid refreshment. Little liquid refreshment. Come on in. Have a seat. Greetings, Internet, YouTube, children of all ages. It is I, your unemployed, you're had a flashback. Your gainfully employed superhero coming to you live, Cassidy Clark, here in a bit of a balmy Independence. I've been nice the last couple of days, a little humid today. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I haven't made a video in a while. I've been incredibly busy. Ever since I got the new job, my schedule has changed from what I'm used to from my old job. I leave the house about 6:30 in the morning. Don't come back home on average till 7:30 at night. Work till 5 or so in the afternoon. Go out to the retirement home, check in with my pop, make sure he's not batshit crazy, which he is, but he's not bothering anybody, which is all I care about. And I move on from there. So it's been a work is not killing me. It's just I'm used to being at work, leaving work, coming home, and then decompressing, so to speak. So now I'm decompressing at the retirement home, so when I get in the car to drive home, I'm an absolute wreck. Right now I'm a wreck. I could go pass out in the bed right now. It's only about 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, you'll forgive me. I bought some stuff. I was gonna unbox it and put it on. I buy a guitar strap for all my guitars. I look at the guitar strap as kind of like putting clothes on your guitar, kind of in a way, and all my guitars have a guitar strap for them that completes their outfit. So I had to buy a couple more because I was out. This is one of my newer ones I just bought. I bought this one when I got my new job as kind of like a reward for getting a new job. Got a new strap. This is it's a D'Addario strap. I like Planet Wave straps. They're pretty good. This is actually from a company in Germany called Harley Benton. It's a PRS clone. Should probably bring my camera down. How's that? It's a PRS clone. If you don't know what PRS means, don't worry about it. It's a guitar thing. Max the Wonder Dog actually about a week ago chewed through one of my guitar cables, so I had to go out and buy a new guitar cable. I actually heard about this company I never heard of them before. Back's kind of sore. Heard of them before. They're called Pig Hog instrument cables. A guy I know recommended them to me. They got a lifetime warranty on the cable. Got me a 6-foot one. I don't need a very long one. I'm just in my room. So I was going to hook up everything and make sure it all worked. Ouch, back's a little sore. So yeah. That's why I'm making a video, though. I was going to be in here anyway. Thought I'd make a video. I get emails from time to time. And other than the fact people are asking if I died, which I didn't, since I have no imagination right now and I'm half awake, I thought I would talk about a topic that people ask me about that I never really address in any of my videos. I get asked from time to time, you know, you do your show, your videos anyway, in this room, and from what we can tell, you're just surrounded by guitars. I think I'm at 16 last count, give or take. But I never talk about music that I like, that I listen to. Oh, my back hurts. Pause for a back pain. Ow. Ow. Drugs. Anyway, nobody asked me what I listen to, or what I play, or I never talk about the guitars that I have. So I thought I'd answer a couple of questions I get emailed somewhat regularly, and that would be the video for today. Because frankly, I have no imagination. My brain is pudding. So the first question I always get is actually two questions in one. One, how old was I when I started to play? And two, how old can you be and still learn to play? That's when I get asked quite a bit, more than a couple of times. How about that? All 5 of my viewers are very interested. I started learning back when my first lessons began when I was 12, 13 years old. My parents got divorced, and I kind of had to give up my guitar lessons during that time because we moved around a lot. And you know, I told myself, you know, I wanted to get back into it because I enjoy it, but I was going to do it right. I was going to wait till, you know, I had a point in my life where, in my opinion, I could do it, you know, right. If that makes any sense. I didn't have a job with a decent disposable income until about 12 years ago. When I hit my 30s, roughly. Late 20s, early 30s. About 29, 30 years old. I finally had a job where I had some decent disposable income, and I could buy myself a decent guitar and start learning again. And that's how basically I started and gotten to this point. I went a little crazy with my disposable income, but I enjoy it. Okay, there's 3 types of guitar players in the world. First type of guitar player just wants to be like in a band. You know, they just want to play an instrument in a band and be part of a band, maybe play on stage. A good example of that would be, you know, a good rhythm guitar player. You know, somebody who kind of sits in the background, doesn't play lead, doesn't do crazy solos, but just plays a very solid. Malcolm Young, Angus Young's brother in AC/DC, is a good example of that. Doesn't play lead, he's not flashy, he just wants to play guitar in a band and play music. That's the first type. Second type are people who play guitar to project an image, the aura of the guitar player. Paul Stanley of Kiss is a prime example of this. Paul Stanley is not a great guitar. He's better than me, which ain't saying much, but he's not a great guitar player. But he's a good guitar. He's solid. But the only real reason he plays guitar is because he wants to project that front man guitar player guy to the crowd. Um, that'd be the second group. Yngwie Malmsteen is kind of in that group too, by the way. The third group are people who are just in love with guitars themselves, the instrument. I fall in that group. I love these things. I think this is, I like this one. This is a very cheap guitar. I bought it from a company called Harley Benton in Germany through a website called Thomann. You can search for Thomann or Harley Benton and you'll see this thing come up. I think it looks nice. It's pretty cheap. All the guitars that I've bought in my life have been because I think they look neat, and that's why I bought them. And I'm obsessed with them. I love playing my guitars. I love learning new things. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, Clapton, any guitar player from the 60s from Britain, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, are guys that are, and gals, there's gals out there too, that are obsessed with the guitar and playing it. Joe Bonamassa, the guy comes to mind. That's the three groups. I tell everybody, if you're older, like in your 30s, your 40s, if you're not a member of that third group, because chances are if you're in your 30s, your 40s, you're probably not going to get to a band. Most bands are young people. You might get in an oldies band or a cover band around your area. Bar bands. You might be able to get your way into one. But you got to be pretty solid to make it into a bar band. You're not going to be a front man for a rock group at 30 or 40 years old. You're not. So you'd better love it, because if you don't love it, you're going to lose interest quick. Because, and here's the thing, how old do you got to be to play guitar? I will tell you this right now, and some people who play guitar are probably going to argue with me. I will say this. Anybody with appendages and has hearing can play guitar. I've seen people with no arms play guitar with their feet. Tony Iommi is missing parts of his fingers. He's pretty good. Anybody can learn to play guitar. Anybody. You give me 2 weeks with a person and I can teach them to play a simple song. Anybody. A solo? Probably not. But I can teach you how to play rhythm guitar to a simple song in 2 weeks. Anybody can do it. Playing guitar well, or better than most people, probably not. All right, that's the allure of the guitar, is that it's very simple to make comprehensible noise from a guitar. I can show you some power chords and some power chord progressions. We could play Cocaine by Eric Clapton, and it will sound like Cocaine from Eric Clapton. You won't know anything about what you're doing, but you could play it. All right. The thing about playing guitar is you can play guitar, but you may never sound like you want to sound. You know, anybody can learn the opening riff to Back in Black from AC/DC, to Enter Sandman by Metallica, but try to go off and play something on your own, off the top of your head, you don't sound like Metallica, and you don't sound like AC/DC. That's the nature of the beast, so to speak. So it all depends on what your goals are. If you're like me and just want to make a bunch of noise that kind of sounds like a song, you know, I know my scales. I'm working on my modes. I know my keys. Still working on the notes in those keys. That's a little touch and go at the moment, but I consider myself, you know, intermediate. I don't know anything. I don't know any theory. I'm not a musical theorist by any means. I can't tell you which note to play and why to play it. I can hear if it sounds good and play it, and just know, hey, that sounded good. I'm going to play it again, but I don't know the theory behind why it sounds good at that point in time. But there's a lot of guitar players that don't. So it's all you. But like I said, anybody can learn to play guitar at any age. It just don't expect to be Jimmy Page in a week. Don't expect to be a half-assed Ed Sheeran in a week. All right. Guitar is one of those things that you get out of it exactly what you put into it. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, obsessed. Jeff Beck, obsessed. That's all they did. They didn't play Nintendo. They didn't go out and meet women. They didn't have much of a life other than playing the guitar. That was their life. They were obsessed with it. Eddie Van Halen was like that when he was younger. Just obsessed with it. And that's how you get good, for what it's worth. As far as music I like to play, there's a thing I hear about a lot from other guitar players that exist in the world. And that's that no matter what song they want to play, whenever they pick up a guitar and start to write, they end up just sounding like themselves. You know, it's like you're just programmed to play a certain style. Like David Gilmour, when David Gilmour picks up a guitar and starts playing, he plays like David Gilmour. Everything he plays sounds like David Gilmour. When James Hetfield picks up a guitar and starts to play, it's going to be riff-based heavy rock. That's what he's going to play. He's going to play you a riff because that's just how he's programmed. I consider myself more of a blues guitar. I'm not fast. I don't have very fast. First of all, I'm 43 and I'm diabetic. And I've been programming most of my life, so my wrists are a disaster. My fingers, pretty gnarly. And I'm not all that fast, so I'm not really a metal guy or a shredder. Never wanted to be one, to be quite honest with you, a shredder. But I consider myself more of a blues-based, atmospheric type guitar player. I want to sound like David Gilmour. I don't. But I would love to be compared to him. If I could obtain a level, that'd be the level I'd like to attain. Is David Gilmour level. As far as the stuff I've bought over the years, a lot of it is shit that I put on the bench back there and screw around with until it makes noises I like. Prime example of that is a guitar that I bought from China. This is a Chinese guitar. Looks like a Les Paul. Plays like it's not a Les Paul. It's a Bad Cat. It's a Les Paul. It's a Chinese copy of a Les Paul. When I bought it, everything about it sucked, except for the body. The body was nice. I replaced the pickups with the zebras, and I replaced all the wiring down here. Put a new bridge on it. Bought a bridge from Gibson. I'm actually debating about going and buying a wraparound bridge. I've heard good things about wraparound bridges, but that's a guitar guy thing. Put new tuners on it. These are classic style tuners because the tuners on it sucked. Gave it a new nut. This is a synthetic bone nut. Gave it a fret leveling, and now it's a pretty decent little guitar. It sounds very nice. I do not sound like Slash or Jimmy Page. I would love to be able to, but I don't. But this is what I do with my time. Paid $185 for this body. The parts I put into it cost about $60 to $70. Possibly the most expensive part was a bone nut, actually. I think the bone nut was around 40, 45. Never did a nut before. I kind of wanted to do that because I never put a new nut in a guitar before. And they did a pretty decent job. Even bought a shitty Les Paul truss rod cover for it. See, it says Les Paul there. That's what I do. I build these things. This is a nice. I love playing this guitar too. It sounds great. The pickups are from a company called TNT Custom Guitars. They're Dragonfire pickups. These are their version of Gibson pickups. Fuzzies, something like that. Sounds great. This is what I do with my time. Many of my guitars are just like this, by the way. Nothing special. I just find something I think looks nice. I purchase it, and if it sounds like shit, I do what they call modding it. A lot of guitars I bought planning to mod, but never did. Like this thing here. I was planning on putting pickups like that. This came with what are called Wilkinson pickups that are not that bad. I don't think I'm going to change it. I think that's about enough for one video. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. But that's me in music. This, by the way, is my... This is my... I was going to make this a Gilmore Strat until I found this really cool pickguard, and it's not a Gilmore Strat anymore. I'll talk about it one of these days. This whole thing costs less than $200, by the way. Anyway. Oh, my back. So there. That's me in music in a nutshell. If you have any more questions you'd like me to answer, feel free to send them. I'd be happy to answer them. But that's pretty much what I do. That's me in music, for the most part. I am going to call it a day. I'm going to go watch Rachel Maddow and then pass out. I just pissed some of you off, didn't I? Anyway, this has been your unemployed superhero. Well, gainfully employed superhero now. Be good to your mother. Max is excited to go lay down too. It's hot in this room. Never drink downstream from the herd. Stay sexy, San Diego, and I will talk to you again soon, hopefully, with a little bit better presentation than this one. You take her easy, and I'll be back. Clark out. Move.